This vessel is the MV Vanquish. It is almost ready to set off on the high seas with these containers. These are 4 of the 8 seafarers who make up the crew on this vessel. They've been at the dock of the port of Belize since Thursday, but they can't go on land. And that's why on this International Day of Seafarers, the Port of Belize, the Belize Port Authority, and local agent Belize Estate Company Limited got together to give these seafarers a special treat.
It's an opportunity for us to recognize the essential work that they do and the value that they add to every country and every economy that they serve. So we're here today to just present a few tokens of our gratitude to them. It's very hard work. What we're doing here today is very minuscule in proportion to what needs to be done for the well-being and the livelihood of these essential workers.
That blaring horn is a salute to these seafarers and others across the globe. They spent several months to more than a year at sea to safely transport cargoes back and forth. And so they play a critical role in international trade and moving the global economy forward. It's one that Agent Belize Estate Company Limited recognizes, as these seafarers brought in 93 containers and are taking back 117.
These seafarers are very important. They are vital to the day-to-day activities of the vessel, because without them, we would not be able to get goods coming into our country on a daily basis. They're the ones responsible for moving in and out of Belize our produce and bringing all the things that we see that we have on the shore shelves that makes our lives easier day to day. It's a huge sacrifice. I mean, these guys, they come out and they go on contracts for 6 to 9 months. Many times they don't get the opportunity to come on shore. They actually physically have to live on that vessel for the entire duration of the contract.
But yet they're exposed to great risks at sea, and working conditions continue to be a problem. Yet it's their perseverance during the height of this pandemic that shows how important they are to the value supply chain, as they transported millions and millions of protected gears, biomedical technology and equipment to all corners of the world to tackle the COVID-19.
The last year has been very tough for many seafarers. At one stage there were 300,000 seafarers essentially stranded at sea because of the travel restrictions. And that also means there were 300,000 relief seafarers on the land that were not able to go to work and earn for their families. Some of these seafarers have been on board ships for 18 months or more. And on top of that, we are presently, again on a global basis, we are presently having a peak in the quantity of crew abandonments, where the ship owner simply leaves the ship and leaves the crew to fend for themselves. If we go back March, April, May of last year, when the pandemic was striking most countries, no country was prepared with protective equipment, with oxygen, with medicines, and the vast majority of that has been transported by container, by sea. And without the work of these people, I think the death toll and the impact on all societies globally would have been significantly worse than it was.
But while these seafarers risk their lives to keep the wheels of trade turning and countries supplied with basic and life-saving necessities, they are still not listed as essential workers. And because their work conditions are far from fair and they provide important service, when they dock in countries like here in Belize, the Belize Port Authority forms a part of the boarding party to do inspections to ensure that these vessels are seaworthy and that the seafarers are being treated fairly.
When the ship enters, we make sure that everything is fine and make sure that everything is okay with the crew, but I also inspect the ship. So every 6 months we look at navigation, we look at fire safety and life savings, engine room. We check for Maritime Labor Convention, which we look at their care as to how they're treated, their working condition, their hours. So we think it's only right that we celebrate them and let them know that we appreciate all they're doing, especially in these challenging times.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.